Here we are on the notes for 1.1 and 1.2. We do these two lessons together because they kind of, go hand in hand. Just one is about addition and subtraction, and then the other one is the same concept, but with multiplication and division. So, if you look at the opening exercise here, it says draw a tape diagram to represent the following expression 5 plus 4. So 5 plus 4 in a tape diagram. So imagine we'll start with 5 boxes for the 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm adding on 4 more boxes for the 4. Okay. So now in part B, it says write an expression for each tape diagram. So I've got 2 boxes grouped and then another 2. So this would be like 2 plus 2. And then the next one, I have 3 boxes, and then I would be adding 4. Okay. So in number 1, it says predict what will happen when a tape diagram has a large number of squares. Some squares are removed, but then the same amount of squares are added back on. So like if you look back at the second example here, the 3 plus 4. So let's imagine now I'm going to take off these 4 boxes. Okay, so they're gone. So I only have 3 boxes. But then what if I added them back on again? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what happened there? And did really anything change? So, you could say nothing would change because even though I took off those 4 boxes, but then I put them back on, so I would get my original number back. All right, so that's the more visual model. If that doesn't work in your brain, that's okay. In number 2 here, it says build a tape diagram with 10 squares. So 10 squares, 10 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remove 6 of them. Write an expression to represent the tape diagram. So if I remove 6 of them, maybe off the end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be like taking my 10 boxes and I'm taking off 6. Okay. Now add 6 squares onto the tape diagram. So I'm going to add 6 of them back onto the end here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alter the original expression to represent the current tape diagram. So I had that 10 minus 6, but then I'm going to add 6 more onto it. So just put them back. And now part C says evaluate the expression. This word evaluate, that means to solve. So what happens? I have 10 minus 6, which is 4, but then I'm going to add the 6 back on. So really, those 6's kind of canceled. They kind of, go away, and I just end up with 10. Okay. Now, number 3 says to write a number sentence using variables. Remember, variables are letters to represent the identities we demonstrated with the tape diagrams. So just pick 2 letters. This would be like saying A minus B. But then I'm going to add that B back on, and this would equal A. Okay? So that's the first page. If you go to the next page, using your knowledge of identities, fill in the blanks. Okay, remember identities, we talked about those. So I have 4 plus 5 minus something that equals 4. That would just be 5. 25 minus something plus 10, and I want to get 25 back, so this would be 10 in the blank. And now here I have 60 minus 16. Well, that's 0. We know that. And I'm trying to get to 45, so this would have to be 45. Now 56 minus 20, but plus the 20 back on. So I'd end up back at 56. All right, and now we can do the same thing with letters. So A plus B minus something, and I want to get back to A, so it means I'd have to subtract that B off. C minus D plus D, so this like that cancels, they're gone. I'm left with C. E plus something minus F to equal E. Well, I'd have to have an F there. And then the last one would be G in the blank. Okay, so don't overthink it. It's really not as hard as you think it is. Now, if you go into the next page, one more page here with the lesson 2, it's the same thing now, just with the multiplication and division. It's the same idea. So we're going to skip the first part. If you look at number 1, so I have 3 times 8. Well, we can walk it out. 3 times 8 is 24. Divided by something that equals 3. Well, 24 divided by 8 would get us 3. All right, 25 divided by something times 5 would get us 25. All right, this would have to be 5. And now something times 16 divided by 16 that equals 4. Well, 16 divided by 16 is 1. So something times 1 that gives us 4 would be 4. And then 56 divided by 8 times 8, this would give me 1. That would give 56. Okay, so pause for a moment. Try number 2, these 4 parts with the letters. All right, so hopefully you come back to check now. You should get B, and then C, F, and G. All right, so that's all I'll do for now, and then we'll do some more practice together in class.